Hello, this is Serrano, former president of the NJ Pulse in Paterson, New Jersey. I am doing a two-part video. This is part one. Part two is already uploaded online. I did part two. While I was doing part two, I realized there was information that was actually going to be part one that was missing from the video. And one of the things that was missing is the comment that Charles Charles Florio, Andrew Saya, and the rest of them, the elected officials, was hiring PI Harry Melber to intentionally go after my wife to push her. And there's parts of this tape that I cannot play you, but the part that I'm playing is the part that I sent to them. They have this in the lawsuit they filed against me. I had to submit this evidence to them. There's other parts that I'm sending to the Attorney General's office. All this case surrounds Andrew Saya. He set up this entire thing to target me, and when that failed, he went after my wife. But I want you to hear this first.
Every time we get the right thing, because they did say that. They said that they allow him to get caught on purpose. Okay?
Okay.
That's what they said. I don't know what, but...
Okay. Apparently that's all I can play for you. So what this guy is saying, this is a former police chief, and there's a long conversation I had with him, that this PI, Harry Melber, was supposed to get caught pushing and chasing my wife off the freeway. And so, when I say off, I mean on the highway. We have the video from the police dash cam that shows that. He has videos that he's hiding, that he refused to put into evidence, that we're going to charge him with. Well, they're supposed to charge him with when they go after Saya for this. So Andrew Saya wanted dirt on me, and he couldn't get it. So what he's doing, he was checking my Facebook page, came across a language between me and this police chief at the time, and thought that we had a conflict. So anybody that had a conflict with, he's looking to try to get them to sue me or target me or hurt me and hurt my family. So he told this guy that the PI was intentionally going after my wife to push her. If you're speeding behind somebody, a woman on the highway, and you're pushing her for what? Off the street? Pushing her what? To get into an accident? What was the pushing her? But when you look at his defamation case, he made it sound like he was some innocent PI guy just staying back in the distance and just following her and doing his job. That is not the truth. That was one of the biggest lies in that complaint. So when this guy goes to testify, if they don't go and try to tamper with him as a witness, which is another charge, when he goes to testify, he has to tell the FBI that Andrew Saya paid to intentionally push my wife, and then you add what you need to add to that. Off the street, onto oncoming traffic, so she can get injured. What were they pushing her for? So he wasn't backing off and just doing his PI job. That's why the clerk in Verona asked me, you had to be really stupid to get caught. I believe my wife when she tells me that this guy was chasing her. The first time he did it, she was going to her job, and he chased her into pushing her, as this guy said, almost got into an accident to the complex where she worked, because she had to fly in there. She could have gotten hurt, killed, or whatever. So I was right when my wife told me this is what they were doing. And I said it, and they sued me, and they got their political judges in the Democratic Party to target me and rule against my constitutional rights, which I don't have here, to speak freely about it. So you heard it. I wanted you to hear this one part, this one evidence. This is evidence where you're hearing this police chief saying that Andrew Saya called him. And there's another part of this tape that he specifically says, when I ask him, who called you? And I had to push him a little. And he says, Andrew Saya. Andrew Saya called him. And I asked him suspiciously, how can I prove that? And he said, just check the phone records. You will see, just before the election, Andrew Saya has been calling me. And Andrew Saya has been trying to turn people against you. So Andrew Saya helped hired, because he's not paying, he's getting his donors, people to his campaign and his supporters, to pay for the evil that he's doing to other people Because when you trace the money back to the government funds, he knows that's dangerous. So he's going to individuals to get him to fund what he needs funded. This is the government of Patterson. Andrew Sayer is the government. A wall doesn't do something, a chair doesn't do something. People do it, and people are the government. This is the government of Patterson that got the Charles Florio to pay the funding for this Harry Melber to go after my wife. And then he went and he got an attorney and got Charles Flory again to pay for that attorney, John Olson, this guy right here, to then sue me. Because when we went to court, Harry Melber never mentioned that he was defamed. And this was 5 months later. He never made any complaints to Facebook that our first two original statements about him was defamation he wanted to remove. He never complained about it. He left it up there. But he complained about everything else that would make this balance and against him. But those two he never complained, because we checked with Facebook, there's no complaint. So if you never complain about it, how are you defamed? So there's a lot of bad stuff that happened that was illegal and unlawful against me that was perpetrated by Andrew Sayer. Now I have a whole thing, I want to say this, but I want to do a separate video. The problem is not, there's a whole bunch of elected officials. They do different stuff. They don't do sinister, physical, evil, targeting, aggressively. And somebody called me and said to be very careful with Andrew Sayer. He comes from a part of Syria, his family, where they're very aggressive. There's a very aggressive Islamic part of Syria, and in part Lebanese, which his parents are, that they go after people. They're not Americans where you settle stuff like how the elected officials just voted to block me from speaking, voted to remove my name, threw my paper in the trash. That's American style. This guy is more aggressive. He goes after you. He went after Joey Torres, though he was taking taxpayers' money, and I reported this, and using it for campaign stuff. They stepped over him. The Democratic Party and the prosecutor stepped over him and went after Joey Torres. Well, why didn't you arrest Andrew Sayer too? Because they needed him. And then when he took the $5 million and gave it to Bob Garassi, the same guy he gave the $47 million to run the Camp Cliff Stadium, nobody's arresting him. They're leaving him alone. They are helping Islam. Because the problem that I had at Andrew Sayer from the beginning is I exposed him defending the jihad against the United States, saying you don't need Jesus, calling the Bible a lie, while he's portraying himself as a Christian, saying you don't need Jesus on a recorded. You just Google Andrew Sayer jihad and you'll see his entire stuff right there. I'm not lying about this guy. I'm telling you, all these people are supporting Islam. The Democratic Party is backing Islam. So are these judges. This is the judge that ruled against me. Refuse to respect the rights. Swear an oath to the Bible that I will uphold the Constitution. The Constitution says if somebody went on Facebook and they put an op-ed, an opinion, an editorial, and they say something, that's protected speech. But this character didn't want to do that because I filed criminal charges against his buddies. So he was looking for blood. When this guy filed a lawsuit for Harry Melber, right? They didn't think they were going to get anything, and they weren't supposed to. That's why they were selling for $700. It wasn't shocking. It didn't shock me that he was going to try to damage me for Islam, because all Andrew Sayer has to do was to call the governor or John Curry, who he's been hanging out with at their homes. It was at the governor's mansion. We need a judge to punish this guy. This was a punishment to shut and censor me down. But at the end of the day, they intentionally went after my wife. This is what Islam does. This is what the aggressive part of Islam does. It targets you, it targets your family. So my question is, any media, any press, and their family who opposes people like Sayer is subject to aggressive behavior of them targeting the family members and then running to the Democratic Party and saying, let's get this guy. Let's rule against him. I need your help. And that's what's happening here. But you heard this guy for yourself. That they intentionally, willfully, maliciously, basically, went after her to push her. And I've showed you the videos of my YouTube channel, and this Harry Melber character keeps calling Facebook eventually. I'm going to have to question Facebook, because what they're removing is things that's basically what the news publish. And I don't know what language he's using, so I'm going to have to go on the other side and bring them into my federal case against the city of Patterson. So now that he has his judgment, we've got to bring that judgment into the federal court that we have against Patterson, because Patterson hired him. Patterson hired him to censor me. Remember, Patterson is sued for censoring me. And now he filed a case that punished me for speaking. Isn't that what I'm suing Patterson for? Because you're punishing me from speaking? So they got this guy, they got these judges. So now we're going to take that from the lower court, bring it into a federal court, subpoena him, because he's going to try to put a lien on me and my case and go after me. So now we have to show a judge. Not only did they censor me and punish my speech in the city of Patterson, they hired this guy to do it. And they went after my wife. So we have to take all the evidence of a defamation case, drop it in a federal case. He's not walking away. We gave Harry Melber a chance to walk away peacefully, quietly. But he wants to, this is how evil he is. Him and his attorney, they want to stick it to a Christian. They want to punish a Christian and his Christian wife from Islamic mayor that I have published. This is the reason I've been fighting Andrew Sayer. He's defending the jihad, going after Christians, removing Christians from the highest power in Patterson, New Jersey, and replacing them with Islamic power. His quest is to put Islamic power into place. And these blind Christians in the city of Patterson keeps giving him that power, because he hugs and he kisses them. This is his plan, to remove Christians and put in place Islamic power. And he's succeeding. And I'm the only one who knows this, and that's why he's spending extra effort on me. So now I'm meeting some of the biggest churches here in Texas with their help, because we're going to have to do an appeal on this Harry Melber character. Okay, once we appeal him, we'll be able to question him, not in this trial, because I didn't have the money back then, but we have a fund that's going on right now. I'm meeting with all the churches, and I go to one of the biggest churches here in Texas. And I'm meeting with the pastor and asking him for his help. If God can't protect me and send his people, which he's done before. The Republican Party has always defended my newspaper in Passaic County, always done that. But I had a newspaper then, so I'm going to still reach out to them, see what happens, but we are not going to let this go. I just had to sign with Harry Melber. Here's your $700, go away. But Harry Melber wants to defend Islam. He wants to continue to defend Islam. This judge wants to protect Islam. This lawyer here, John Olstein, wants to protect Islam and punish my wife and me, a Christian family, for this Islamic man. All because I criticize him for lying and calling Jesus in the Bible a liar, saying you don't need Jesus while he's in the churches, condemning Christ. It's what I feel, in my view. When you say that you don't need Jesus, he's not the Messiah, he's not the way to heaven, that's a condemnation, because the Bible says so. You condemn me when you don't admit this. So I have been on him for lying that he's a Christian when he's really... Just look, you don't have to take my word for it. Your city top attorney, turn into Muslim. Your city top chief of police, turn into Muslim. Your city top prosecutor, turn into Muslim. 6 other places, turn into Muslim. He turned he pushed Al Abdelaziz for the 6th ward, Islamic. Everything that he has done, and I keep evidence of everything. That's what his quest is. The 9/11 attackers came from where? Patterson, New Jersey. What, 8 or 9 of them? Okay? There is something going on in that city that God once revealed. It's going on, I'm telling you. And this guy, they call him the rising star of Islam in Patterson. He's the key. And that's why he's aggressive and nasty. And he targeted Joey, he targeted Mendez, he targeted Pedro, he even used the church to go against Bill McCoy. Is that sad that a Muslim is using Pastor Clayton from what's that Baptist church? St. Luke's Baptist Church to target one of his own Christians from Islamic person that is hiding behind the pulpit? This is a sad, sad situation in Patterson, New Jersey. But I wanted you to hear that I was not lying in this defamation suit that they had against me. I was telling the truth. We have the police. I'm telling you, just go. You'll see the. I keep clicking so you can see him. It was on my wife's bumper, going after her, pushing her. She could have run off the road and gotten killed. And when she said to me, this guy was chasing her, I believe her. And now we have confirmation from a former police chief that what we said was right. Harry Melber is no victim. Harry Melber is one of the villains that went after my wife to protect Islam. And that's his next video. But I wanted you to hear this. Just play it back. You don't. This is the former police chief. And when I questioned him, Richard Diaz, I said, what if you're lying to me? He says, I am a sworn officer of the law. And I don't have to lie to you. I took a sworn oath. When they tell me they intentionally went after her and pushing her, I'm telling you the truth. There's another conversation me and him had that we didn't get recorded, but I got enough recorded to know where those other conversation. And in another conversation, it says specifically, if you want to prove that Andrew Sayer has been talking to me and calling me, and he's the one pushing to go after your wife, just get my phone records. I've never lied. I've told the truth, and his judges from the Democratic Party who is protecting this guy calls him up because I had two of his other buddies, criminal charges against two top judges, and that's their buddy. So they were waiting. So I could have signed the 700, but I am not going to sell my wife, my Christian faith, Jesus Christ, or the gospel out just so I can save my butt. So it's a $129,000 fine to protect Islam that they hired Harry Melber and John Alstein to get for them. That's who Islam has hired, those two. And that's their history. When it was time for him to walk away, he didn't want to. Now he's there. So I hope you guys understand. I can't play you everything, but I think you heard enough. Rewind it, listen to it, and you're going to see what I'm telling you. These people are dangerous. They're vicious. And I'm not talking specifically about this Islamic mayor that you have there right now. Very dangerous. This is what he does to everybody that is a threat to them, to him. And he's using the Democratic Party and all their resources now, all their judges, to target any Christian that goes after him to expose him. Make sure you understand that. Last night I had a dream, 4 hours, I couldn't sleep. And God keeps telling me, you have the wrong narrative here. You're going after the wrong people. I will expose them. But is this Islamic person pretending to be one of me that's bringing down my kingdom, bringing down the Christian faith in City Hall in Patterson and replacing it with Islamic people is what I want you to focus on. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on. You may not get it in this generation. Maybe another generation will get it when this becomes worse. But I still have to tell you. I hope you open up your eyes and see the demon and the devil that you're serving in the city of Patterson and the people that supports them. This is Serrano. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.